Good evening, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and special welcome to our distinguished guest at this government or let's just say dialogue on the progress at Nigerian Immigration Service and other matters. And our special guest today is none other than our distinguished Madam Kemi Nanan Nanda, PCC, FSM, MMIS, who was appointed as the 19th CGI, that is Controller of Immigration Service, Controller General of Immigration Service, with effect from the 1st of March 2024. Until her appointment, she was the Deputy Controller General in charge of passports and other travel documents. In fact, he supervised the automation of the passport application system as DCG. He has also headed Migration Directorate at the Nigeria Immigration Service headquarters over time, and under her leadership as acting DCG Migration, the Nigerian Immigration Service produced the first short film titled Journey to Unknown Destination. I'm sure a few of us have caught that, and if you have not, Google it, find it, and catch up to sensitize Nigerians on the dangers of irregular migration. CGI Nanda is a thoroughbred, a public servant who believes in ideas of due process, capacity building, and professionalism. He is decisive, she's firm, she's perspicacious, and fundamentally a silent achiever. He is a patriot, one that we're proud of, one that we love to hear from more, one that has made us proud over the years. And that's one of the things that we want to walk through with her. We'll let her have the opening statement before we go into the question. You're very welcome, distinguished CGIS.
Thank you very much, Doctor. It's an honor and a privilege to be here. Thank you so much.
We really appreciate your coming, Ma. And today we're looking into this is like the second edition of Special Presidential Initiative, where we talk and walk Nigerians through the issues with areas of our institutions that Mr. President is very, very much interested in that are critical to our economy and also to our nation at large. And today we are discussing the Nigerian Immigration Services progress on all executables as mentioned by the Honorable Minister of Interior and the recent increase in the cost of procuring our passports. And but before we go deeper into the whole process, let us begin by looking at the things that you have done along the parameters of the deployment of technology, the training, and the strategic communication. But let's begin with areas of border management. And because I know I'm speaking to the right person now, because you have been through a lot of motions within the system. You have been in the acting DCG on migration. You worked on travel documents and passports. You worked all around the areas that are very critical that must have been neglected or underinvested in over time. Tell us more about the things that you have done within the premise of border management. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much for that question. Before I go on, let me just give you a brief, just a little insight. Nigeria has we have an expansive border. It's over 4,000 kilometers in terms of, the length. And managing that border length is not an easy task. And it's not something that has to be done with just human capacity, but also in terms of technology. And in the past, what we have done in NIS has been mainly border management, which is just, looking at the border, who comes in, who goes out. But with this new administration, what we have done now is border governance. What that means is we've incorporated other parameters in terms of how do we keep our borders secure. And critical for that is the border communities. We have incorporated them into our activities to make sure that we have a firmer grasp of border management. And to do this successfully, it must be technology driven. And how do we do that? We have deployed a lot of technology to our borders to make sure that it assists our officers. Because human beings, there are always error in terms of human beings. You can't see it all. You can't know everything. Technology is there to help and to guide us. And that's what we have done. We have installed what we call the intelligence video system, surveillance system. What this does is it can cover a long distance, and it helps. It has I think distance about 1 or 2 kilometers, and that helps the officers at the borders to see either dangers coming or whatever is happening within the environment. What that does for them is it helps them prepare. It helps them to assess the dangers, and it helps them to have a better response time, and makes them go back to, it also helps them to, in terms of response time, it's quicker, it's faster, it's more target deployed. We also have the command and control center, which is something we just built recently with the coming of the administration. We have a command and control center. What this does is it gives us real-time happenings at the borders, and it also helps us in terms of response. And this control, command and control, is incorporated with the API and the PNR. The API and the PNR, basically what it does is it helps us in guiding who's coming into the country. We have a better, it's interactive. Before the people come into our country, we can guess who's coming in. We know who's coming, not guess, sorry. We can actually know if there are any persons of interest who's coming into the country beforehand. And it helps us to curtail or to guide against such things. We can either reject them before they even board, or we can accept. So it's a target-based security system. It's not a question of guessing, or who's coming, or you're not prepared to who's coming into the country. So our security now is more target, is security, the target, how do I put this? It helps us, it's precise, it's concise. The people are coming into the country, exactly who is coming into the country. And it's target driven, target based. What that does is that it helps us, we're prepared. If we have a person of interest or a person who we're suspecting to have a funny character or who is not acceptable to the country, we're already prepared. We know that he's coming. So we are prepared. Is either we reject him at the airport, or once he comes in, we apprehend him and we hand him over to the necessary authority. And don't forget that border security is also linked to economic development. So what this has done for us is to make sure that the country is better positioned in terms of the economy. We've also installed the automated border control system, which is also known as the eGate. This helps us in terms of passenger clearance. We want people to come into the country. The experience they come in is when they come in, they have a good experience. It's a sweet experience, if I can borrow the expression of our Honorable Minister. Coming into the country, clearance at the airport is very smooth and is seamless. It takes approximately 30 seconds to clear passengers. That is much, much better than what we have now. Initially, what we had was about 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes to clear one passenger. And that is not very comfortable. It's not a friendly or nice environment for anyone to come into the country. I'm sure you remember there was this case of a lady who was complaining about, it was on the social media, where she complained about how long it took to be cleared. So what the eGate does for us is it cuts down the clearance of passengers. And we have this eGate installed at all our major international airports. We have about 41 of them. And also, initially, what we have is NIS is an organization that has a lot of data in terms of migration management and border, of course, border security. But what we have now, we have our data center, which is it's comparable to anywhere in the world. It's about 1.4 petabyte, the size of the data center. And what that does for us is we've integrated all our data systems into that data center, so that it helps us in terms of sharing information with other agencies. We are more organized. Our data from all different sources, from our passports, our visas, our SEPAC, everything is integrated into one, and it's better for national security. It's better for us managing the border as well. And of course, there's also the border reforms, because in terms of border management, you have different layers of border management. You have control before, you have to have control before they come into the country, which is what we talk about when you talk about visa, the visa reforms. That helps us control who comes into our country. It's all part of the border management system, border governance. So we have control before they come into the country, which we do with our visas. And that right now is we're reforming them. We're making sure that our visas are automated. All the systems are automated. And also we have the issuance of the visas are now going to be all biometric. We've deployed that. Initially, we had manual, but as of, I think, a week ago, all the systems, all our missions outside the country are now operating as biometric visa, which is still ongoing. It's an ongoing process. We have over 51 missions. So it's ongoing in all those missions to make sure that the visas we issue there are all biometric visa. And we also have the visa case management system. When I say that, I mean that these visas are linked to our systems at the border. So you can now look at visas coming in to see the genuinity of if they are real or fake. Up until now, we couldn't do that. So, but with the automation of these visa systems, it's integrated into our system, so we can now see if you have a fake Nigerian visa, we can detect. So that helps us control who comes into the country. And then we also have control after, which is done by our SEPAC and our intelligence group, our INC, and also the migration unit, of course. That we have also the e-migrants registration, which is also part of the control after entrance, after control of the migrants after they have entered into the country. We make sure they are registered at our e-migrant centers, where we keep tag of all non-Nigerians in the country, whether African or European, wherever. We have a whole database of them. So what we've now done, all these databases are going to be integrated into one data center, so that everything is warehoused in one system. Unlike before, what we had all these, we had them in silos, and that was not, it was not useful, because to generate data, you have to go here, go there. But with the integration now, it's just a simple touch of the button, and you get what you need. And we also, of course, we're the leading agency in terms of migration and border security. What we do also, we share this intelligence with other agencies that require them. We're very big in terms of interagency collaboration. We work well with other agencies to share this data, because national security is not just what NIS can do all by themselves. And in terms of border governance, it entails working together with other agencies. And apart from the technology improvement we've done, our visa reforms, we also have, of course, the passport reforms that we've done as well. We've automated all our system in terms of passport applications, the processing, and of course, the vetting as well. That has been done as well. I must mention that one thing we have done that has been very silent, or very, we've been very quiet about, is in terms of personnel welfare. It's been improved since we came on board. We have made the welfare of the personnel, front burner, and this has been, a very good experience for both the officers and our men. It has, because whether you like it or not, you can deploy technology as much as you want, but it's the men that would man this technology. And if they're not competent and well grounded, then it's going to be an exercise in futility. So capacity building also is one of the things we've been doing. We've invested a lot in terms of training and retraining our officers. Recently, we had the sensitization at our different airports, and we also had the hostmanship training. Hostmanship is the art of being welcomed, of feeling, being welcomed into wherever you are, or whichever of our centers you go to. It's an art. It's part of our management strategy, where we believe that any person, any citizen who comes into our services, who comes into our domain, or who comes to any of our centers must feel welcomed, must see a change, must feel that loyalty, must feel that dedication, that professionalism. That is what the art of hostmanship is all about, and that is something that's very basic. It's one of the baseline in Nigerian immigration. That's what in our service, our service model. That's one thing we're known for: a lot of hostmanship, a lot of training, and in a nutshell, we're just trying to make sure that NIS is repositioned. We want to gain public trust. I know there's been a lot of negativity in terms of what we've been seeing in the media lately. And what we're trying to do is to reverse that thinking, to make Nigerians know that NIS is a friendly institution. We're here to serve the people. And that is basically what we want to do, to make the people feel welcome, to know that our officers are here to cater for your needs, to make sure that whatever you need, we're here to serve you better. And of course, I want to employ Nigerians as well to please continue to give us feedback, because without your feedback, we will not know what we need to do better, or where we need to, or what we need not to do. And of course, I'll encourage them to continue, giving us positive criticism. And if I can use the word whistleblowing, please continue, because in as much as we welcome, we are committed to the welfare of our officers, we're also committed to the fact that it's zero tolerance to corruption. And any of our officers found wanting or in any of this situation clearly, we will not take it lightly, and they'll face all the required disciplinary action, and which is what is happening right now, especially during the recent ones we've had. It's been on social media and has been decisively dealt with, and it's still being dealt with. So we encourage our officers, of course, to do the best they can be and conduct themselves, in the right manner and professionally. But we also frown, and we'll make it a duty to make sure that any bad egg in the system, will make sure that we weed them out, because NIS is not the NIS before. Things are changing. We want to be the best we can be in terms of, best practices out there. We want to be an immigration service that is proud, and, we do our work well. And
thank you very much. Let me let you breathe for a moment.
Okay.
So that you can relax. And this is just a conversation that you're having with Nigerians, being the very first in the history of Nigerian immigration, CGIS, to engage Nigerians in a live broadcast. Nobody can engage you on TV. It is hard to engage you on radio shows. And then there's little exposure, given the nature of what you're doing, that you can have with the public on those other formats. But if there's going to be ever a challenge of the administration and your institution, it will be from Twitter. That's why we're basking in the fire of this space, to engage the Nigerian public, just so they can have that direct, interactions with you, to walk through the things that you have done, the things that you're doing, and the things that we can hope for. You mentioned if there is any institution or ministry in Nigeria that mirrors the campaign policies of the administration when they're coming, it will be the Nigerian Immigration Service. Why? Because it deals with security, it deals with economic development, it deals with human capital development. And if these three can be fixed across institutions, Nigeria will be better off. And the immigration of most of the time, all the services under the Nigerian immigration, under the Ministry of Interior, are often swept under when people are complaining. They mix policies with operations, thereby pushing issues that are technical to politicians. Thereby, and at the end of the day, the kind of response they get often gets conflicting. And sometimes also when political office holders and appointees, when they speak about certain technical things, they may say by tomorrow we're going to have so and so happen. But technically, deep inside the system, we know those things cannot be possible within that time frame. So it is always good to create that platform upon which Nigerians can engage with the professionals in the system who have spent decades giving their services, their professionalism to Nigerians. And that's why we're very proud to have you help us break the ice and break the ceiling, because I'm even glad, because they said the future is female. And we're glad that you are here representing the motherhood, our motherland, as it were, and in service to our nation, especially in respect to immigration. You mentioned so many things that you did in a modest way. I know you provided operational vehicles for use by the border officials, based on the implementation of the policies of the ministry. I know that also there is ongoing infrastructural upgrade at land border posts across Nigeria, especially at the Seme border on the site. I also know that there is creation of border community engagement units across all border formations. So you're not just keeping people out, you're also engaging these people, because we know, according to what the minister have mentioned on this platform before, that Nigerian border is not just like a gate. There are towns in between us and other foreign countries, and it is not an easy task to maintain. And you've been doing so much in this regard, and it's always good for Nigerians to hear directly from you. And in the space of human capital development, you have done a lot of trainings and retrainings, airport officers, training of passenger information units, and continuous training, which have been going on in the service. And every immigration officer is proud to be a part of what is going on, because they can see the bigger picture. And we can also see it and feel it from interacting with them across board. But one aspect that concerns Nigeria, is very sensitive to Nigeria, to Nigerians, is the aspect of the passport. I know that miraculous things have been happening over the years with cushioning policies that helps prevent Nigerians at home from facing the harsh reality of costs, in that regard. Because I know I got my passport in the UK, and I know how much we paid to apply. I also know how much we paid for postal order for it to get to us, to get posted to us. If I convert that fund, that figure into Naira, it is not 100,000. It is far more than that. And so when the news broke that there might be a little bit of adjustment to the pricing based on several factors which you walk us through, Nigerians are asking, why are we having to pay more for procurement of passport when the economy is harsh? I want you to walk us gently through that conundrum, just so that Nigerians can understand how much of sacrifices our Nigerian immigration have been given in that regard. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Everyone knows that, these are hard times for the country. And believe me when I say it was a very difficult decision for us to make. But it was one we realized that we just had no choice but to make. Because whether we like it or not, Nigeria was the first country to start the e-passport, which was in 2019. And at that time, I think dollar was about 360 Naira to a dollar. And the price at that time was 25,000 Naira. And that's like how many years ago? Between that time and now, the dollar is now 1,600. And this passport we're talking about is based on import. We do not manufacture it in Nigeria. It's not a locally produced product. We import it. We import the booklet. We import the laminate, and for us to sustain the fact that we need to make sure our passports are available. You might like to understand the fact that for the past 3 months, we've not had any backlog. There hasn't been one. Our backlog has been 0. And that's because passports, booklets have been readily available. We haven't had it this good in terms of having availability of booklets. I was a DCG in passport, and I know the problems we had then. But for us to continue making sure that we have availability of booklets, it was just nothing else to do but to increase our price. Because presently, the landing cost of one booklet is about 45,000 naira. 45,000 naira. So, and if we now say that we'll continue at that 35,000 naira, it just means we keep subsidizing. But for how long? We've been, taking money from other areas to do the subsidizing. And it's now affecting other areas. And also it's going to affect how available our passports are. So for that not to happen, we just had no choice but to, increase the price. And also, don't forget that we have a timeline. We've told Nigerians that the timeline for, issuing passports or passports to be ready is 3 weeks for renewal, and then 8 weeks if you have change of data. For us to maintain that timeline, it means we must have booklets. There must be availability of booklets. And the only way to do that is to increase our prices so that we can meet up. And don't forget, we have vendors who are bringing this passport. We must pay them for the money. They will not do it free of charge. So, and also the quality of our passport in Nigeria. Nigeria has one of the best qualities. And I must tell you that right now, we are actually going to be in ICAO, and we have the PKD and the PKI. The PKD is the Public Key Directorate, and the PKI is the Public Key Infrastructure. What these two things does for the passport is it improves the integrity of the passport. It means that our passport, a Nigerian passport now, can, anywhere in the world, if it's scanned, you can see the digital certificate of the issuing authority. That means it gives our passport credibility, which is one thing that we never had before. And to do this is not free of charge. We have to pay our dues at ICAO. We have to pay certain fees to actually be uploaded on this directorate, because the directorate is like a repository of all the passports in the world. So now the import ceremony it's a directorate where all passports of the world are domiciled in. Before now, Nigeria has not been, we've never been on that directorate. We're not in it. That's why we have issues with when we go outside the country, it's difficult for the immigration officers to scan our passport and see if it's genuine or not. They have to call us physically, like make a call and check, okay, is this passport real? But what we are doing now with the PKD and the PKI, it means our passport is going to be in the directorate, the whole world directorate, the ICAO directorate, where all other countries, we have over 109 countries are in that directorate. So anywhere Nigerians go, you can just get your passport scanned, and the country there will see the digital certificate that this is an authentic passport or it is not. In a nutshell, what I'm saying is Nigerians can travel easily all over the world. It gives us credibility. And these things are not cheap. It gives us because even going to obtain visas, these are one of the things that, these are one of the problems that we have when it comes to getting a visa. They have to, call the issuing authority physically, like make phone calls. But with this PKD and the PKI, what that does for us, we're already in that system. We're already in the directorate. They do not need, all they do is just scan your passport. And the digital certificate shows. So what we're doing is to upgrade the integrity of our passport. Don't forget that it's the travel document that Nigerians have. It's your national identity. So you must give it all the credibility. You must give it all the, the importance it deserves. And what this PKD and PKI is a milestone that we have done. The import ceremony is going to take place on the 4th of September in Montreal. I'll be attending it, and it will be a ceremony where we will now hand over our digital certificate to ICAO. ICAO will upload it to the whole world. So the whole world will have the digital certificate of Nigerian passport. It is a wonderful achievement for Nigerian immigration, for Nigeria as a country, because what that does is our passport has that integrity. It has that they can authenticate it anywhere, any country, wherever you go to, can just scan your passport and know immediately if it's real, if it's fake, if it's, they will, it connects them into our database, and it gives them that credibility. They know that, yes, this passport is real or this passport is forged. And what that does again is the fact that we have different cases where non-Nigerians are even trying to obtain our passport. These also helps us to checkmate that. So, like I said, the increase in price is something we just had to do. It was a difficult decision, honestly, because I know I'm a mother. I know how difficult, things are now. But for us to continue giving Nigerians the best services and the best, passport they can think of, to give them at the right time, and also to make sure that we avoid all sorts of undue, whatever. So that's why we decided that we needed to increase the price. The only thing I can say is to appeal to Nigerians to please, please, and please be understanding. I can assure you that our services will make sure that we give you the best in terms of services. And I know one of the worries is the fact that, we're increasing the prices. What if officers are now, they're collecting extra money? The only thing I can say in that regard is I beg Nigerians that we have a simple application system. Go to our website, upload your documents, make your payments, and that's it. You do not need anybody to do that for you. You do not need to give anybody money. If anyone asks you for money, we have the Savicom, we have the ACTU, and then you have the passport control officer. Go to any of these three people. Ask, it's your right, demand you want to see the passport control officer, and report to that person. Tell him, this person, please, we encourage you to whistleblow. We encourage you to bring up anyone who asks you for extra money, any of our officers. But I must also inform Nigerians that going to travel agents and touts is also something I think they should stop doing. It's a very simple platform. We've made it as friendly as possible. Upload your documents, make your payment, book your appointment. At the right time, you come to our offices and then you capture. So the process is as seamless as possible. And all I can say is just for you to be patient with us. We know the country is not too, it will get better. It will definitely get better. And also, I can tell you that the prices in other countries is not even compared to what we've increased to. Is not. I know that's not. That would not be. People will say, what's our business with that country? But honestly, Nigerian passport price is not that high in terms of other countries. So my appeal is just to beg Nigerians to please bear with us.
Thank you very much, Ma. I would like to, at this point, introduce and also welcome my co-host, Abe Governor. He's a troublesome person, and he's always been with us for the past months now that we've been engaging Nigerians with ministers and heads of special initiatives. And I will hand over to him now to introduce former Honorable Minister of Youth, Sir Sunday Dare. to the floor. Mr. Abbey, you have the floor, and introduce Honorable Minister. I don't know if you can hear Abbey.
Yeah. Oops.
Hello.
Okay.
Shaga,
Yes,
can you
I
hear
can
me?
hear you, Honorable Minister.
I think you've introduced me already.
No, we just want to use this opportunity to thank you for all that you have been doing and for the fact,
Absolutely, it's national duty.
so thank you very much for all that you have been doing to help us bridge the gap between the people and the government, and then to also to let our authorities know how imperative, how important it is for us to give account of stewardship to the people, so that when people are trying to use or to exploit their ignorance and their anxiety against the system, they will be able to be informed to know how to make up their own minds. So thank you very much for the initiative. Thank you very much for your steadfastness, for listening, and thank you very much for all that you are, sir.
Absolutely, thank you so much. Already the CG of immigrations has already taken over, which is what is expected. So this is a belated welcome. It's just customary and traditional that we welcome you, Mrs. Kaminanda, CG Immigrations. I've listened on. I joined 3 minutes after 6 o'clock, and I've listened very attentively. And now I've come to understand clearly why the Honorable Minister Bomiojo had no hesitation when I requested that, can we have you? He said, absolutely. And I kind of kept quiet for a few seconds. And then he said, she's good. There's no question. She knows the system quite well. And just listening to you this several minutes, it's so impressive. Let me also say that when you look at the modern day intelligence and global security system, we must thank the immigrations for plugging Nigeria into the era of big data. Yeah, we live in an era of big data, an era of automation, precision, and digital footprint. And the immigrations is so critical, way beyond. I know the customs bring in all the money, but the immigrations and what gives us the footprint we need as global citizens is the quality and the security features of our passports. That's why it's often called alternatively national passport or international passport. And I have traveled the world, and I know that to a large extent, your passport, its quality, it's been part of the big database. They can check at the push of a button. You don't have to wait 3 hours before they confirm that whether you're Nigerian, whether your passport is real or fake. When it takes 2 minutes or 1 minute, there's a lot of confidence. And I think the immigrations in its own way is playing a humongous role in helping reinforce the Nigerian identity and also making sure that we're part of the global digital database. So I want to thank you sincerely for agreeing at a very short notice to be on this platform. Of course, we have quite a number of people from diverse places and also diverse backgrounds. They will ask you questions. Some of them will have suggestions. And I'm sure that this, of course, we call it conversation, but oftentimes I call it crucial conversation, because issues that are crucial will come up, and then you can always take it from there. Overall, we believe that having this engagement and conversations with not just the ministers, but also key people like you, the CJ, that are charged with or saddled with implementing these initiatives and policies. It's so critical because it gives you the opportunity to engage. It gives you the opportunity to clear certain misconceptions, but also, information empowers. There's a lot of assumption on the part of Nigerians. Oh, why did immigrations do this? Why did customs do this? I see in the US government, where I worked for 10 years with the Voice of America, a constant stream of information. Before a government policy is launched, while it is launched and thereafter. And while it is, some information is real time, some of it is on website, you can find it. So ignorance is not an excuse, but also you get to understand this is why this has taken place. Yesterday, I took time to just do a small research to find out the cost of passports across the globe. It interests you that even in Ghana, if you know how much they pay for passports in Ghana, you'd be shocked. And then when you look at it globally, our passports, even at the new price, you know, and I know I shouldn't be making a case for immigrations, but I'm also making it on behalf of this government because it's all for the good governance that comes from this government. The price of our passport is one of the cheapest and it's still affordable. And I think that we must compliment the immigration service. We're seeing a new dawn, and we're happy with that. So once again, I want to welcome you. Thank you for your contribution so far. And I'm sure that at the end of this conversation, there'll be a better appreciation of the work you do, of the work your team does, the immigrations, and of the work done by the Interior Ministry overall. And Nigerians can better appreciate the work that has been done. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sunday Dare. Thank you very much, CG, Madam Kemi Nandep. We're going to be opening the floor for questions, but based on my own little knowledge and research, not making a case for the immigration, like Honorable Sunday said, I think Madam Kemi Nandep has done a lot of good jobs. From the days I've known her from the international, as a controller of MM2 International Airport. There was also a case of the pistol and bullets resulting in the arrest of a US-based Nigerian in the attempt of smuggling. Also, I followed her, I did follow up as well when she was also the controller in charge of Plateau State Command, building both infrastructural and human capital development. So many things, so many good things. So I really don't have a question. I had to contact Mrs. Funke Jones, that's my auntie, and she was like, Madam Kemi is an absolutely spot-on immigration CG. So thank you very much for coming, ma.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you so much.
So we're going to open before you open the floor, Abby, I doubt if there's anybody who is human that has anything negative to say about the CGIS of immigration, and we feel blessed having you, ma. I don't know if you have any response to the feedback we got from Honorable Minister Sunday Dare earlier on, before we open the floor.
Just from what Honorable Sunday Dare said, that my takeaway from that is the fact that the PKD and the PKI is actually a very it's a beautiful thing that we've done, and like he said, it brings this acceptability for Nigerians in terms of our travel document all over the world, because before, like he said, it takes at airports, clearance for immigration office for Nigerians, usually they're there. You have to, your passport has to take some minutes before they confirm if it's real or not. But with us now being in the directory, it's just seconds. They scan it and it's there. So that is really, for me, that's a really, it's a welcome idea for us. So thank you very much, Honorable Dare, for appreciating that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, distinguished CG. So we're going to open the floor. Let me recognize my sister, Madam Kem Ajia. Thank you for coming, always, assisting us. Madam Kem, you're welcome. Do you want to open the floor for questions?
Hi, good evening. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak, and it's a pleasure to be on the same space with my namesake. It's obvious that when chemies, get to work, they make a difference, and that's what you can see. Because one of the greatest challenges that we have as Nigerians is how we are sometimes treated at the airport due to the slowness at which we are attended to. And I really want to commend her and thank particularly Chief Sunday Dare for this initiative, and of course the distinguished Sega himself, who ensures that the conversation continues. We don't take Nigerians for granted. That's very, very important. I will not be opening the floor. I have invited quite a number of people to the space. I have shared it on WhatsApp groups. And I would also encourage anyone who's here, to also share it on WhatsApp groups so that people can hear this conversation and we will have less misinformation in the public space. I think that's very important to every Nigerian. We have no other country but ours, and we need to own it. We need to, understand that the only people who can build this amazing nation is we Nigerians ourselves. So once again, I want to say good job, Abe Governor. I think you want to be the governor of Ogun State one day. We'll be rooting for you. And of course, the distinguished Sega himself, thank you and well done. And everybody on the space, I see Dr. Dipo. I'm not going to take this time to make a shout out, but hey, thank you so much for the acknowledgement. And thank you so much to everyone who has joined the space. Please share the space with as many people as possible so that we can have this conversation heard by as many Nigerians as possible. Chief Sunday Diary, I greet you respectfully again.
Thank you very much. Ajia Kemkem. It's Ajia, not Madam Abbey. It's Ajia Kemkem.
Ajia, correction.
Whichever one you call me is fine. Usually you should end the Ajia with a Muslim name, and my Muslim name is Rahama. But whichever one you choose to call me is fine. It's fine. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. So the protocol for asking questions tonight, because we don't want to make it very brief, and we want to make it direct. We don't want to make a submission before question. Let's just go straight to the question. And I want to first thank my brother, Dr. Dipo Awojide, for stopping by. He's a lecturer, he's a doctor, he's a seasoned individual who cares a lot about Nigeria and who also have sacrificed a lot on this street for the country. So I want to allow you to open the floor while Abe takes charge of the rotation of the mic. You have the floor, Dr. Dipo Ojide.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Sega and our co-host, Auntie Kemi. Good evening. Mr. Son, good evening, sir. So I stopped lecturing last year. I switched to management consulting. So I'm currently a senior management consultant in one of the top consulting companies in the UK. And I currently work on defense, security, and airport transformation related projects. So I am very well aware of what is going on, with airport security, not just in the UK but across the world. So my question, I've actually got 2 or 3 questions for Madam Kemi, who is the CG of NIS. Good job you've done so far. I mean, I listened to you, and I see that you've actually been, since you came in, you've been doing some very good job. Similar to the minister. But I wonder, as a management consultant who does process improvements, works on process improvement, transformation projects. I am wondering why, we still check Nigerian passports at 3 different locations at the airport. So this will be my first question. If I'm not mistaken, I mean, I've been traveling since 2008, and all of the countries I've been to, they only check your passport once. I mean, all of the European countries I've been to. So I don't know what we need to do to streamline that process to ensure that we're not checking passports at several locations, at the point of entry and as well as at the point of exit, within Nigeria, either Lagos, Abuja, or any other place. The second question I have, and I mean, this might be a question, this might be, my own personal observation. There is still so much begging going on at airports across Nigeria. There is still so much begging going on by government officials, Nigerian immigration and custom officials, and FAN officials across our airports. What plans do you have to eradicate this culture? What plans do you have to ensure that the people who get involved in this begging, who has turned this to a lifestyle, what measures do we have in place to ensure that it is eradicated? And the third question for me is, I mean, I live in the UK, and the process for obtaining a Nigerian passport in the UK is still very, very difficult. I've been traveling on my British passport in the last 2 years. Thank you so very much to Nigeria for allowing those of us that have second passports to come in with that second passport and be able to live with that second passport. But the process of obtaining passports in London, in the London house, is still very, very cumbersome. What plans, what milestones are you going to put in place in the next 1 year? I mean, of course, working alongside the minister to ensure that the process, once again, is streamlined and that customers, users, Nigerian citizens will get a better experience. The last question I have for you, Ma, is about airport security. I know that NDLEA has done a lot of work. They've recorded a lot of success in terms of, drugs, people who are attempting to carry cocaine or all sort of drugs out of the country. What plans do you have to improve the shoe, bag, and body search solutions across all our airports in Nigeria? These are the few questions I have for you, Ma. Once again, thank you so much, the host, Sega and Abe, for allowing me to ask these questions. Are you the mic?
Thank you. You have the floor, Ma.
Madam CG. Maybe it's network issues.
Hello, thank you. The first question you asked is regarding the number of checks at the airport. Let me state categorically that NIS, Nigerian Immigration Service, checks just once. But I would also let you know that there are other agencies at the airport that we do not have control over, and they also have their own mandate, whatever the mandate is. But categorically, NIS checks just once. Having said that, the e-gates we're trying to, which we have installed now, and they'll be active, I think, in the next maybe 2-3 weeks, hopefully. This will check that, because once you go through the e-gate, and as a Nigerian, we'll start with Nigerians for now, and gradually go into foreigners as well. But as a Nigerian coming in or going out, you just use the e-gate and that's it. And also, I think the answer is trying to see how there's a better workflow in terms of the agencies at the airport, because there's something called the secondary inspection unit. Ideally, anywhere in the world, immigration is usually the lead agency at the airport. The other agencies are meant to be secondary, units, which they would operate at the back end. If there's any issue, then they can be resorted to. But also we have issues of the body camera, which we'll soon be wearing. Our officers will be wearing them with other agencies as well. This will stop the issue of begging that you were talking about. And at the points where the immigration officers stand are usually at the counter. And at these counters, you have cameras there. So it is very difficult for an officer to beg with the camera on. And now that they'll be wearing body cams, and we're also doing a lot of training, of re-educationing, of giving a new concept in terms of what it is service delivery is all about, what professionalism is all about, what an immigration officer is supposed to be. Because whether you like it or not, we're the first people you see when you come into the country, and the last people you see when you leave the country. So it is very crucial for us to be of, the credibility for Nigerian immigration officer is very, very key. And that is what we're trying to instill in our people. That's what we're trying to, that's the training we're trying to instill. It's an ongoing thing. Presently, as we speak, we have a sensitization that is going on at our airports, the international airports. It's been going on now for like 3 days. I think they'll be ending it today or tomorrow. So these are all the attitudinal changes we're trying to make sure that we instill in our officers. Regarding the begging, we're not the only, I'm not trying to make excuses for Nigerian Immigration Service, but it is a fact that we are not the only agencies at the airport. We are mainly at the counter, and we're always in our uniforms. So you can see us clearly with our name tags and all. So it's very difficult. And again, with the body cams we'll be wearing, it'll be very difficult for us. Even if they do that, it will be a thing of the past. I can reassure you that it will be a thing of the past for officers to beg. And I'm sure that no agency would want, their officers to beg. It's actually a very distasteful thing. And I think, the other agencies are also working on how best to curb these things. But like I said, in terms of, the control, checking of the passports, we do it just once. Nigerian Immigration Service, we have just one place where we check our passports, and it's just done once. Other agencies at the airport, they could also do that. That's up to them. But NIS, we have just one area where we check. And then for the UK, I would love to say that things are a bit different now, especially with the automation of our systems. And also, in case you don't know, our Nigerians in diaspora, you have that leeway of applying for your renewal a year before it expires. That is a concession we gave to all Nigerians in diaspora. You can renew your passport 1 year before it expires. So, 1 year is a long time for you to reapply. Even if you get the appointment for 6 or 3 months, it's more than adequate for you to apply for your passport. But the thing is, Nigerians will always leave their renewal to the last minute, and everyone will be like, oh, I need my passport tomorrow, I need it yesterday. We need to change the way we approach such things. I'm not making excuses for for the activities or for whatever is going wrong, but all I'm saying is there is that you have the right, you have that leeway for you to apply for your renewal, to renew your passport a year before it expires. So the issue of you saying that we don't have, it's difficult to get your passport done, I think if we actually came to that renewal a year before, it would go a long way to address such issues. And also the contactless, of course, will soon take off in diaspora. That will also help in terms of the difficulty in traveling, the times, the lost man hour in terms of how long it takes you to get to the embassy to get your passport, because we know it's a lot of traveling time, it's a lot of economic loss in terms of buying tickets, accommodation, all these things add up. But what we're saying is, with the new systems we have in place, once the contactless starts, but of course, contactless is there are categories of people who can actually apply for the contactless. So it has to be just a renewal. That it has to be just the fact that you want to renew your passport. And I know majority of the people in diaspora usually are renewals. So once we start that service, it will go a long way to make sure that it's not difficult. And of course, there'll be home delivery, which we are doing now anyways. But there'll be home delivery option for you to have the passport delivered to you, and the contactless where you can sit in the comfort of your home, upload your documents, make your payment, book take your biometrics from your phone. So all these are made. We're putting all this in place to make sure that it's not difficult. You don't lose time. You don't lose work hours. You don't lose money just because you want to renew your passport. We actually feel the fact that the people in diaspora have it's a difficult thing for you to renew your passport, and that's why we've put some of these things in place to make sure once the contactless is in place, it'll be easy for you to renew. You can also have the home delivery as well, and we're also making sure that booklets are available. so that there's no question of, oh, we don't have booklets, oh, we don't have 32-page, you don't have 64-page. No, booklets will always be available. And these usually are the problems when it comes to, getting your passport. Is either you don't have booklets, or maybe the appointment. Another thing is, of course, the appointment time for now. We've increased the number of appointments UK can take a day. It used to be 150. But we've opened up the appointment now to make it 200. We did that, I think, added to the 150. So in UK now, they can take 350 applicants daily. So that is what we've done to make sure that people don't have this issue of having to wait a long time, or you come and you wait at the embassy. We want you to have, to come in and the atmosphere is relaxed and you're comfortable. It's not as if you're queuing at the entrance of the embassy. It's really a very sad sight to see Nigerians queuing outside the embassy. So we try to make sure that we take those things away by making sure you apply online. Once you do that, all you do is just come to the embassy and capture. And very soon, again, the capturing will now be, you can do it at the comfort of your home once it's contactless. You can do the capturing at the comfort of your home. So you have no business coming to the embassy, no business whatsoever. You capture at the comfort of your home. If you want home delivery, it's delivered to you. Or if you rather want to pick it at the embassy, it's your call. So we're trying to make sure that no matter what, we make it as pleasant an experience as possible for Nigerians. And it's a work in progress. We'll keep getting better and better and better, and we'll always want Nigerians to give us feedback. What is it we're doing? What do you want improved? And if anybody hasn't served you well, please let us know. We have feedback mechanisms. We have numbers you can call. We have emails you can send messages to. We have a 24-hour passport management response team that would listen and sort whatever problems we have, that citizens have, both in diaspora and locally in Nigeria. I know it's not it's not something we can solve totally, but at least we'll make sure that to the best of our knowledge and to the best of our ability, we'll try and make sure that Nigerians do not have a nasty experience when it comes to passport. But the fact still remains that we also have responsibilities. Nigerians also must do what they need to do. You must apply the right way. You must, don't give people money to do your passport. It's a simple thing. Go online, apply, make your payment, book your appointment, and show up. So I want to also appeal to Nigerians, like I said, please, let's all play our part. That's the only way that we can make progress. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam CG. We're going to move to the next speaker. Let's take Madam Ruth Umbo.
Madam. Thank you very much, Governor Abbey. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. Okay, so I have a straight question, but I wonder if you can tell us, how long we should expect, the online payment to be down. I don't know if you have said something about it before I joined the room, but I wonder if you can just assuage, the way we're feeling right now and just tell us, maybe give us some timeline of how long the system will be down or when we should expect it to be back up. But my question is, and I must really say that the website and interface is actually very simple. Like you said, I want to agree to that. It's very simple to use. The only challenge sometimes is, your kind of passport. They want it a particular size. And so you would have to ensure that it's that particular size before it pulls through. But my question is, why does the website remove your application? I don't know for how long it takes, but after some time, if it has not been attended to, the website automatically deletes everything. And so I was thinking that, you go through that whole process of having to fill the application and, of course, all the sensitivity and everything. And then if you come back, I don't know how long, but then your application just completely disappears. You can't find it. So you have to go back and start again. So I was thinking that is a bit of a challenge. I wonder if it is a problem if your application stays on for as long as it can stay. I don't know. And then finally, just to paint a scenario, you said that, we should whistleblow and also if we have issues, demand for the passport officer and report anyone. My friend had an issue. He applied for passport online. Of course, he went for his interview. And so as he was leaving, they asked him, who invited you? He said, no, he applied online. They now said, okay, no problem. The next time he came, after he had captured and everything, he came for his passport. They said his file had gotten missing. He was like, he doesn't understand. They said, well, they couldn't find the file, that he has to start the process again. He had to now pay physically and start the process again. And that was how he was able to get his passport. So yes, these people, some people, some miscreants play pranks, just to ensure that they have access to people's money and things like that. So those scenarios are always bound to be there from time to time. But I think you sort of addressed it. We should report, and I hope that that can stop those kinds of people. Thank you, Shegalink.
Thank you very much, Madam Root. Madam CG, any comments?
Yes. Oh, thank you, Madam Ruth. The portal is up and running right now. We had an issue, I think yesterday, but it's been resolved now, and it's up and running. That's for the portal. And then regarding the passport size, the size is usually in accordance with ICAO standard, because every passport must meet ICAO standards. So the size of the passport photographs we require are usually in line with the requirements of ICAO. So that it's not just that we deliberately want to make it difficult or we just bring up any size. It must be in conformity with the ICAO standard. And regarding the your information, after the application not being there anymore, I think that has to do with retention of data, because we also have to follow the data law, the data law, and so data protection law, of course. So we are also conforming with those laws, and there's a limit to which we can retain people's data. So maybe that's why it goes off after a while. But my advice is for you, once you start your application, just make sure you follow it to a logical conclusion, and that way it stays, but it cannot stay there forever, because we have to also make sure we're in line with the data protection law. And but the issue of your friend who went to get a passport, if you could tell me the center where that happened. And we also have, we have Servicom and ACTU. These desks officers are strictly meant to attend to such issues. And if that does not work, we have our email address. You can send our email. At the end of these conversation, I'll put a number out there that people can send text messages, just text messages, to make sure that we redress some of these things. We have different redress mechanisms in place. You can go to either our Twitter handler or our Twitter handle, or you can send us an email, or you can send a text message to our numbers, or you can go to either the ACTU or the Servicom desk. All these measures are put in place to make sure that we deal with such issues. And I can assure you that is zero tolerance to such things. Once it is reported, we work on it and we follow it to a logical conclusion. So if you want to reach out later, you can let us know where this occurred, and we'll definitely make our findings about that.
Thank you very much, Madam CG. We're going to call on the next thingy. And Madam Roots, maybe you should try, maybe I'll send the Servicom website and ACTU website, Anti-Corruption Transparency Unit is in all MDAs, Ministry, Department, and agencies, to report any irregularities. So before I take the next speaker, there's a question in the audience, and I'll just read, and I quote, "Begging at the airports is a culture and probably a racketeering. So while body cam may help with transparency and data gathering, what specific plans do you have to being proactive in ensuring that these body cams are not going to be circumvented? It only takes a few people within the hierarchy to align for body cam sabotage. to become a thing. Can you please talk more about commitment of the leadership in ensuring that when an officer gets caught, he or she will be punished? Madam CG. Ma'am?
Thank you very much, Doctor. I definitely, I can reassure you that it's not business as usual in NIS. And we have a lot of, we've deployed a lot of strategy in place to make sure that we checkmate these people. We have a monitoring and evaluation unit. They go and we do a lot of mystery shopping. We have a monitoring and evaluation a team that goes around. And we also have my task force, the CGI's task force. It will interest you that to know that we have about 12 disciplinary actions right now that are taking place that we've apprehended. But these are not things we want to make known to the public, except once we've finished, we've concluded it to a logical conclusion and the disciplinary action has actually been taken, then we can come up to the public and say, listen, so and so we're caught doing this and this is what has happened. So I can reassure you that it's not business as usual. And the management team we have right now, we all have the same vision to make sure that NIS, we restore the public's confidence in us. We want to make sure that the public can feel free to come up to us and tell us this is what is happening. And whoever is responsible, whoever officer is found wanting, will face the music. It will not be swept under the carpet, definitely not. They know that things are different. This is not the same NIS we have. Things are different. This management team is committed to making sure that we do the right thing. And our officers are, they work in a very professional manner. They're dedicated, and there's no question of sharp practices anymore. We're trying to make sure that we bring it down to a minimum level, as reduced as possible. And we work together with ICPC. We go to their institutions to train in terms of fighting corruption. We work with ACT2. We work with of course, ICPC. They're one of our very strong partners in terms of training. It's a constant ongoing training we have. And this is also dissipated at all the formation, not just the service headquarters, but all, it translates down to all formations, all commands in the country. And also, we send our officers, because whether you like it or not, if the officers are not competent in terms of education, that becomes a problem, because corruption has a lot to do with your education, your mindset, and that is what we're trying to do. We're trying to make sure that we change the mindset of our officers. We are now sending more officers to NIPS. We're sending more officers to Defense College. What this does is it translates into them coming back and stepping down this training they've received. Whether we like it or not, training and retraining is what we need. We are constantly doing at NIS right now. We are training and making sure that they understand what is expected of them. And for the body cam, I can assure you that it's not just going to be, it will not be tampered with. It is linked to our command and control. We have a server at the command and control. So it's real time all the time. They're online and it's real time. We can see what's happening at the airports. So it's not, there is no question of sabotage. So I can assure you that we are committed to make sure that we make it work. And this administration is a listening administration. We are also looking at the welfare, because you can't just deploy men and not care about their welfare. That's one of the issues that has been, the problem in the past. Whether we like it or not, it's actually one of the problems we've had in the past. And welfare of our officers is key. This administration is listening. We're working a lot in terms of what are we doing for our officers, those at the borders, those at sensitive areas. We're seeing how we can give what's it called, AIE, to improve their AIE, to make sure because if they don't have money to run their offices, then there's a risk of them being corrupt. So these are the little things we're trying to make sure we block these leakages. And that is what normally creates the avenue for officers to be corrupt or to engage in such practices. And once these things are not there, then it becomes difficult, for them. They know that there's no justification for you to ask someone for money, to say, oh, Oga, abeg, I need to buy diesel, when you're being given money for diesel. So these are the little things that needs to be put in place, and we're trying to do that as much as possible. Even uniforms for our men, we're trying to make sure that we give them uniform. We're talking with people who will actually produce this uniform and give it to them free, at least from a particular rank. They can have the uniform free of charge. So, these little things goes a long way to make sure that officers are comfortable, they're happy, they're contented in doing their work. They do it professionally. They know that they're catered for. And the only thing you can ask of them is make sure you do your work well and do it with a passion and dedication. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam CJ, for the wonderful and eloquent submission. Now we're going to pass the mic to Professor Daniel. Daniel, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Sega and the CJ, Professor Emeritus Abe, since you have called me Professor that I am not today. So you are Professor Emeritus. Yeah, thank you very much, Ma. I've listened to your very eloquent interaction today. Thank you very much. And sometimes I wish every immigration officer that we meet on the field speaks like you, right? But usually that is not usually the case, because when we look at the Nigerian Immigration Service, that service part of the name underscores what the agency does, unlike Nigeria Police Force, Armed Forces, and every other thing. It just underscores that agency is meant to deliver service, right? Service delivery is measured by customer experience. When I relate with that agency, when I relate with that service as a customer, how do I feel? Do I feel better or do I feel worse off? If the service is the delivery, is it fast? Is it easy? Is it with ease? All this underscores how a customer will perceive what you are doing. And if our passport renewal experience in Nigeria, nobody can doubt it. That experience changed for the better, and it changed very fast. And in fact, that was why they were calling the minister, then they were calling him the star boy of the administration, because there's something that changed in the way we experienced that process. I want to. My question is, how are we going to extend this to the airport? Because like you said, your agency is the lead agency, so that means there, but you have a responsibility. So even if the other agencies tamper or contaminate that experience, your agency is doing might not really affect my experience as a Nigerian that is interacting with that service pleasantly, and it will be as if, the Nigerian Immigration Service is not actually doing anything. So what role are you going to play to the interdepartmental relationship is harnessed for a better customer, number one. Number two, what are you actually doing for consequence management? If I get to the airport and somebody is soliciting, who can I contact there immediately? Which office can I go there immediately? And I'll be rest assured that, consequences will be meted out almost immediately. Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of things that you have explained here, but most of those things are, activities that I would say occurs beneath the hood, like of a car. If I have a V6 engine, but that my performance when I'm driving does not change. It's as if that V6 engine is just there for decoration. So what are you doing in this regard? Consequence management, interagency collaboration to improve, our, the experience, because what you do matters a lot. It affects tourism. It affects even foreign investment, because if people are coming, into the country and people are soliciting, there's a way they perceive, the country. So those are my questions, ma. But I must still commend you based on our passport renewal experience so far. It can be, it can improve, but what is going to happen at our airports? The service orientation of your staff, they should know that what they are rendering is a service. They can be assertive, they can enforce, but that service orientation should be heavy, because that is what the name of the agency even actually describes. Thank you very much.
Madam CG, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Professor Daniel. First of all, what we're trying to do is to use technology to make sure that we have minimal interface with humans, with our officers, because it's this interface that creates a lot of sharp practices, or creates a lot of room for asking for money, or whatever it is they get up to. What we have presently, we have the Command and Control Center in Abuja here, and it's linked to the eGate and also the API and the PNR. What that does is it gives us real time. We can see clearly 24/7, real time, what is happening at our airports. Abuja Airport, Lagos Airport, Port Harcourt will soon be on, Enugu will soon be on, Kano too will soon be on that. So what our officers are doing is clear. We can see what they're doing. And don't forget that we're giving them body cam as well, to make sure that everything they say is recorded and is also transmitted to our command and control. So in terms of technology, we've deployed that to make sure that we try as much as possible to guide against sharp practices or unpleasant experiences with passengers, or with Nigerians, or even foreigners, as the case may be. But having said that, the fact still remains that we must just continually and continuously educate and sensitize, and and just train and train and train. And like I said, we just had a 3 days sensitization, which was carried out at the airport, at Abuja Airport, Lagos Airport, Port Harcourt, Kano, and Enugu. And when we did this training, we did it in conjunction. We did it together. We invited the other agencies. We invited AFSEC, we invited Customs. So it wasn't just for NIS officers. We went beyond that to make sure that all other agencies at the airport benefited from this training, because it's a joint activity that goes on at the airport. It's not just NIS alone. Other agencies are also in contact with passengers that come into the country. So they also must be aware of how to treat them. How do you respond to issues? How do you treat, how do you treat, if you have issues regarding different situations, how do you react, respond to such situations? And also we have NIS, we're known for the act of hostmanship. And we do this in conjunction, of course, with the Kingdom of Netherlands. They have been very good partners with us. We just finished the certification of the 6th batch. We've trained close to 4,000 now of our officers. And what they do now, we also do train the trainer. So it's a constant sensitization, the constant training we do of all officers we concentrate these at the airports, because that's the gateway. We meet, a lot of people coming into the country. That's the first impression they have of the country. So it's very crucial for us to demonstrate this act of hostmanship, which we do all the time. We're constantly in trainings with officers at the airport, officers that are even at the land borders as well, not just the airport, but also the land borders. So, but what we're now doing differently is to incorporate other agencies, because initially it was just, we just train our officers, but we're now saying that we're not the only ones who are actually, who deal with passengers or foreigners that come into the country. So we've incorporated other agencies. We've incorporated AFSEC, Customs, NDLEA. They're part of this training. And it was a welcome idea. They loved it. The response was good. And it's going to be a continuous thing. Because whether we like it or not, it's a continuous training, a continuous attitudinal change. We're trying to change their mindset to know that you do not have to subject Nigerians coming in or the foreigners coming into the country to such negative attitude. They have a role to play. They have that role to play as the gateway of the country, to make sure people coming into the country feel welcomed and want to come back to our country. That regarding the issue of consequences, this administration is known for zero tolerance to any kind of corruption. And we have demonstrated and will continue to show that commitment to the fact that we will not tolerate any indiscipline, we will not tolerate any form of corruption, we will not tolerate any form of misconduct. That has been stressed time and time again. Not just stressed, but it has been carried out. Officers that have found themselves in these situations have been dealt with, they have been sanctioned. We have disciplinary actions going on. The disciplinary committee has been set up, and they'll face this committee, and whatever comes out of it, they'll have to face it. If it's dismissal, if it's reduction in rank, if it is whatever is recommended, will be communicated to the board, because we have a board, and the board will make sure that this is done. So this will serve as a deterrent. They will know that it's not business as usual. So these are all the things we're putting in place. And in terms of anyone who has gone through, a situation where you've been asked for money, or you've been asked to, Oga, how now, shake body, or whatever the term it is they use. Like I said, at any airport you go to, you have a unit called the Provost Unit. These Provost units are available for you. You can always ask to see the Provost unit or the Provost, the Provost officer at that airport. And you can report these instances, you can report these issues, and it will be taken up, it will be documented, and you will ask for, you ask for a response. You leave your number and you'll be contacted that this is what has been done. These are the, this is the new thing where now, we're putting this in place. So the Provost unit is on ground to take issues of misconduct at the airport, or any unpleasant experience that Nigerians or non-Nigerians have encountered. We also have, of course, there's the Servicom unit at the airport. Every airport has a Servicom unit. So you can insist on seeing the Servicom desk officer, and you make your case, and I can assure you they'll give you a number to call or an email to get your response, and you'll be given feedback as to what has happened and how the case has been treated. But one thing I want to assure Nigerians that we also need their help, because if you do not report these cases, then it becomes just part of the system. You must make a conscious effort to make sure that you say no to such things, that you do not condone such things, and you do not even aid such things. Don't give them, if they're asking for anything, you're not obliged to give such things. And it is even a duty of yours to report such things so that you can help clean the system. So that's just my appeal. And we have training going on all across our airport. Like I said, it's a constant training. It's something we do all the time. Almost every week, there's some form of training going on. So it's a continuous effort to make sure that the mindset is reconditioned to know that it's not, business as usual. But like I said, Nigerians do have to play their part. We need you to please make sure we understand what is happening. Let us be aware of these are the issues you've encountered and how best we can solve them. And I assure you that we'll definitely solve these cases as, to the best of our own ability. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Highness. Let me say it that way, because you made a lot of things look very simple while you're explaining it to people. They don't know how the level of man hours that will require, and how much you don't get to sleep much because of issues concerning managing the operations of Nigerian Immigration Service. There is a question that has been recurring, even though it has been treated time and time again, but it would be better if it comes from you, given the way your artistry in explaining these processes that makes it simple and motherly. The issue of data correction. If people are asking, why can't we correct our data in London? Why can't we correct our data in Lagos? If you can walk us through that dynamics, why some people have to come to Abuja, or all the dynamics around data correction. Thank you.
Thank you very much. With the new automation we've done, we have actually achieved that. Data, you can change your data at wherever you have applied to, but the administrative aspect of it is done at the service headquarters. The automation we've done, you can state there, you can apply for whatever change of data you want. It's there, you can do that. But the administrative aspect of it is done at the service headquarters, and it's very seamless. There's no issues about it. And usually what we advise is give the reason for the change, because there are cases where someone wants a total or complete change of name, change of date of birth, change of place of birth. That would raise question. Why do you want to change your date of birth? Why do you want to change your place of birth? So some of these issues are why we make them, the administrative aspect is done in Abuja, to make sure that we run such things through our criminal database, to make sure that there's nothing funny, or there's no funny business going on, because there are cases where someone has done some misdeeds elsewhere and wants to change total data because of one reason or the other. So we make sure that those are not the reasons. That's why most of the administrative procedure is done in Abuja. But other than that, you can apply online and make sure that you submit all the breeder documents that you need. If we raise any, of course, this will be vetted by our verification officers. And if they raise any query, then of course, if we're not satisfied that the reason for change of data is not satisfactory, maybe the breeder documents you've sent does not justify the reasons, or you're not given the adequate or the necessary documents you need to effect that change, then it will be queried, and it means you need to, Abuja will now query that. But other than that, if it's a simple change of marriage, change of name by marriage, or you're missing a number, or missing a name, or you're missing, you just want to change or rearrange your name, that you can do online. It's a very seamless arrangement. Once your NIMC, because all this is tied to NIMC, of course, once you have your NIMC that corresponds with the new name you want, that's fine. And of course, you've given all the supporting document, then it's good. You can do that online. You pick where you want to do your biometrics and where you want the passport printed. You pick the center you want, and that is done. But the only reason when you have issues is when the application is queried, and that then the administrative aspect of it is done in Abuja. But other than that, we've automated the system. You can do your change of data online at wherever your center is. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So for those who got born again, you cannot change your date of birth. If you have given your life to Christ and you believe that gives you a new identity, you can't come to immigration and ratify that. So I'll be over to you.
Thank you very much. I think Madam CG spoke eloquently. Like I always tell people that want to change deal be changed. If it's, you can. But anyways, let's move forward. Mr. AY Maxima. We'll take AY Maxima. Then we'll take Bamidele
Yes.
has gone. But please, AY Maxima, before you go, because we don't have enough time for Madam CG, so let's make it a direct question because we want to practice equity, justice, and fairness. You know the difference between equity and equality is that equality is when everyone gets the same thing. However, equity is when everyone gets the thing they deserve. So let's practice what we preach. We have over 20 people on the request section. So direct questions henceforth, not perambulating. One question, and that's it. Thank you very much for understanding. AY Maxima, shoot your question.
Okay. Damn, that's not fair. Well, okay. Thank you very much for the mic. Good evening, everyone. Afternoon or morning, wherever you're from. Thank you, Ma, for showing up to space. So my question is, we are surrounded by instability in Nigeria from the north, like Niger, and we have Mali, Burkina Faso. So there's a bunch of instability, and even the Chad basin areas. And we could also talk about the secessionist group in Cameroon. What is the immigration services, Nigerian immigration services, doing to curtail and protect us from terrorists that have any nefarious intentions in attacking soft targets, smuggling of small arms fire to arm some of our own local terrorists and bandits? What is the Nigerian immigration services doing? Any specifics that you can give us that are not classified? Thank you very much. And Mr. Abbey, I wanted to call your attention to something. Somebody was saying that there's a vulnerability in the Nigerian immigration service systems. He's been asking for the mic. His name is Gabriel. He could explain better, but I don't know more. That's all I'll say. Thank you very
Okay, I'm
much.
going to bring Gabriella up. Before Madam CG, answer the question. Smuggling is under NCS, Nigerian Customs Services. Immigration is for protecting immigrants, immigration services. So, but I'll let Madam CG answer your question.
Terrorists can hide between
I know,
immigrants. You know, they don't have a
AY, just
uniform.
that's fine. Madam CG, go ahead, ma.
Thank you very much for that question. Like you said, NIS, our mandate is strictly border control, border management, border security, and these we have done. When I came on board, the first thing I did was to tour our borders, especially the ones at the north, with corridors with Niger, Chad, and Benin. And the reason why I did that was just to get a first-hand knowledge of what we have on ground in terms of the facilities, what my men were dealing with, and what we have, what's on ground, what's the problem. And what I came up with was the fact that we needed to rejig our infrastructure. We needed to rejig training of our officers. And of course, we needed technology, which we have now deployed. We have done a lot of deployment in terms of, technology. We have about 114 border crossing points in Nigeria legally. And out of those borders, about 86 of that has been deployed. We have deployed the IVS, that's the Intelligence Video Surveillance System. We've deployed that now to over 86 of our borders. And what that does is that our officers, they have better control in terms of the surroundings at the border, especially the border at Niger, the Niger border, that corridor, Ilela, Kebbi State, and also, of course, Mfon and Seme. And what we did was also to make sure that we have more boots on ground. We did a lot of deployment. We redeployed a lot of people. We increased our patrol. We increased surveillance. And it has yielded a lot of benefits, has yielded a lot of results, because we have in our custody a lot of non-Nigerians who come into the country irregularly. And we've had a lot of repatriation. We've done close to all over nationwide. We've had in the past few weeks, we've done close to 100 or so, I think about 112 non-Nigerians that have been repatriated to their various countries, like from Cameroon. We've had people from Cameroon, from Niger, from Burkina Faso. We've had to return them. So a lot, my men, they're doing a lot in terms of keeping our borders safe, in terms of making sure that our borders are well secured. We have, like you said earlier in the program, that we've deployed a lot of vehicles. We've given vehicles to the borders, and 2 days ago I had a meeting with all the commanders and the controllers at the border, and the purpose of that meeting I had with them was just to make sure there's enough intel between us and them. And we've also we've told each and everyone to set up a desk officer at the communities, because what we have now is not just border management, it's border governance. We've incorporated the border communities and also improved upon interagency synergy, because it's a collective effort. Even though we are the critical agency mandated to monitor our borders and control the borders, we still need to do it in conjunction with other sister agencies as well, which we're doing very well. And the border communities, they've been very responsive. Our desk officers, it has yielded a lot of intel generation and intel sharing. And I'll let you know that just a couple of days ago, we had the intel that some non-Nigerians were actually in the country illegally, and the purpose was very questionable. And this intel was given to us by the community. So this engagement we're having with them is actually yielding a lot of results. We're getting a lot of intel, because these people come into the community and they live amongst them. So we need them to tell us who's amongst them. They know who is not part of, who's coming into the community, who is not part of them, who's not from that community. They can detect them because they are there. So they've been giving us intel, which has been very, very fruitful, and this has resulted in a lot of repatriation of non-Nigerians with questionable character. Despite the ECOWAS, treaty and the ECOWAS protocol, ECOWAS citizens must still come into the country with valid documents. The ECOWAS protocol doesn't say you can come in without travel document. That is not what it says. So we make sure that even if you're ECOWAS, you must come in with the right document. And what we have now done in terms of monitoring as well, not just that, but we also have a squad, a specialized border squad, which will soon start. The training will soon start. And it might interest you to know that just 2 or 3 weeks ago, we had a tour in America. We went to US to get, to have a good collaboration with the US government in terms of border management, border governance, and, the surveillance patrol. It was a very fruitful engagement. And in the coming weeks, I think we'll see the fruit of that engagement. I'll keep that on hold for now until things unfold. But I can tell you that it's a good thing for our border management. We've seen the kind of systems they've deployed, and we can also leverage on that. And that is what we're doing to make sure that the border governance is a holistic approach. We have our forward operational bases, which we're trying to bring up. We're rejigging that. We're renovating and bringing that up. We have a command and control center, which gives us real time of what is happening at the borders, not just the airport, but also the land borders as well. We see what's happening there 24/7, real time. And we also have a forward operational basis, which can, make sure that response time is as quick as possible in terms of any issue, if they have any case they need to respond to. And also, of course, we have there's a video surveillance, which gives us a very good view of kilometers away from the border, so you can actually gauge what's coming to you. What that does is the officers have adequate time to respond to what, either to call for backup or to go check what is happening. And the vehicles, of course, are there to aid patrolling and surveillance. So all these together is giving us a better security in terms of manning the borders. It has been a very good response in terms of what we have gotten. We've gotten a lot of non-Nigerians, of course, and they know. We also collaborate, of course, with the country, with our neighbors, because that's one aspect we never used to do. We have good synergy with them, especially this regional aspect. We talk with our neighbors to make sure that we're on the same page. Like during the Niger jailbreak, we had issues there. We apprehended about 5, Nigerians that were actually part of the criminals that escaped, and we handed them over to the Nigerian, to our neighbors. So it's been a good collaboration with even our neighbors as well. So, like I said, it's a holistic approach we're looking at. That's what we do. It's not just officers patrolling the borders only, but we have technology, of course, and there's also there's cooperation with our neighbors, and of course, and the border communities themselves, because they give us a lot of intel. They make us, they are hosts, they are landlords, so we live amongst them. So it's crucial for us to have a good relationship. And the fact that our borders are very contiguous, you have, the relationship between both countries, the 2 countries neighboring each other, is very delicate. So we need these communities to be able to tell us who is who, and that has been happening, and it will continue to happen, because we'll continue to engage them. We'll continue to make sure that we have a good relationship with the border communities, and also, of course, with our neighbors as well. We engage them a lot. So I think in terms of our borders being secure, yes, we're on the right path.
Thank you very much, Madam CG. Gabriel, you said you have an important message. So can you just shoot it in 1 minute? Because I had to make you jump the queue. AY said he had something about the immigration website breach. Gabriel, please go ahead. 1 minute.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone, and good morning or good afternoon, whichever region that you are. Segalink, thank you so much for the opportunity. Madam Kemi, thank you so much too as well. My name is Suma Holland Gabriel, and I'm a penetration tester and also a bug bounter. Now, I noticed a critical data exposure on the Nigeria immigration website. Madam Kem, you spoke on whistleblowing, and to be candid, I had reached out to the email on the Nigeria immigration website, and it's quite unfortunate that even on this Twitter space, your DM it's not open to as well. I think I did some tweet on some of the posts your platform did on the change in passport and all of that I noticed a critical vulnerability on your website, which exposes applicants' credential, which is against the data protection framework. And I don't know how to report this vulnerability, so your IT or security team can quickly remediate this issue. However, I already sent a proof of concept video about this vulnerability, and also a documented report, but this is getting to 2 weeks or so. There has not been any reply from your team, and the vulnerability is still there on the website. Thank you so much. I don't know how to report this. If your DM can be open to send your IT team's email for me to send the POC, proof of concept, of how I discovered this vulnerability, and also a documented report to your IT team or cybersecurity team to remediate this vulnerability. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gabriel. Madam CG, you have the mic, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gabriel. Yes, I would love for you to share that with us. I would be very, very interested in that. I don't know where you've reported these at, but let me give you, if I can I write out maybe I should call out my personal email?
No, no, it's
me.
not fair, Madam CJ. You can just reach out to me via DM because we have a whole lot of people on this space, and you don't know if they can exploit or send you
Maybe, Madam CG, you can DM your email to Mr. Sega, and then Sega will pass it over to Distinguished Sega, Dr. Sega, incoming Professor Sega, and then Sega can pass it over to Gabriel. Madam CG, go ahead, ma. Hello, ma. Sega, can you hear me? Mic check.
Yeah, I can hear you. But I think our mic is muted.
Madam CG, can you
Yeah.
unmute your mic, ma? Or maybe she has network issues.
Okay, so while we wait for the CG to return to us, we need to close the space because she has a meeting to attend right now, and she has a meeting to attend right now, and we are trying as much as possible to make sure that by 8 o'clock, as promised, she is allowed to quickly attend to that crucial meeting that have been pre-scheduled. So pending the time, I think there's a network problem. Our mic is muted, so I'm just waiting for her to be able to unmute her mic, and then she will respond to us. But pending that time, if you have any question whatsoever, you can leave it in the pop-up pill, and I can assure you that the immigration team will respond to that question directly after this session. Every question will be answered, and I will also go through them myself to ensure I call their attention to the question directly so that they can answer. I don't want to keep her beyond 2 hours because she's still working as we speak, and I just want to. Okay, I'm trying to see why. Abe, did you use mute all? Can you?
Sir?
Did you use mute all?
I think I did use Muto because people were going back and forth.
I don't know what's happening. So don't use the. I don't know whether it has affected. Because right now but she can speak. She can unmute her mic and speak because she's co-host. She can mute.
Oh yeah, I can mute calls exactly.
So
But okay, let's continue with the question, Mr. Gabriel. You can DM.
Just one.
Mr.
Yes.
Gabriel, you can DM your question to Sega, or you can send it to me.
His DM is not open. His DM is not open, and I had to quickly speak so Madam CJ don't
okay. My DM is open.
My DM is open.
I can't send you a DM. I can't send you a DM.
Gabriel, you can send me a DM. Don't worry, my DM is open. Let me say hi.
I can't send you a DM too as well. Maybe you can just reach out. Okay.
I've sent you a DM, Mr. Gabriel. No problem, sir. So you can reply my DM. I sent hi in my DM. Your DM. Okay, you got it. All right, cool. Thank you very much. So let me bring Madam Speaker back up. Madam CG. Where's Madam CG?
She's coming back up now.
Please, I have a complaint. Mine is more than a question. That's why I'm waiting for her. Sega, please.
Go ahead, Babalola, before she comes.
No. She has. It's a complaint, not just a hearsay question.
She's not here. Okay, let's wait.
Just hold on.
There's no time. I think everybody should just say what he wants to say. Then she can attend to it later.
Okay. All right. I think we have her back now.
Welcome back, Madam.
Apologies,
CJ.
man. Yes.
Mhm. Sega, can you hear her? Sega.
Okay, you can unmute now. She can unmute now.
Okay, ma. Can you unmute, ma? Sega, can you hear Madam CJ? Distinguished.
I can't hear. I think she's saying muted by host, and I didn't use
No,
any. There's nobody muted here.
nobody muted. But she's a host now, so she can speak now.
Tell her to click
Yes.
the mic. To click the mic. Maybe she doesn't know.
So you can click the mic now.
Madam CJ, you could unmute the mic, bottom left-hand corner, ma'am. Distinguished, over to you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Distinguished.
Hello?
Yes, ma. Go ahead. Welcome back, ma.
We can hear you, man.
We can hear you now, Ma.
I think the network is playing tricks on us.
No, she muted. I think she.
I have one question, please, Dr. Sega.
Okay, everybody should just throw in their questions. So by the time she comes back, she will give a general response. And then the other technical questions can go into the message. I will ensure it gets to her.
Okay, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Imran Haruna. I'm calling from FCT. I have heard since from the beginning of this program, she have spoken well about the achievement of the service and all that. And my question here is that I have a friends of mine who were employed in 2023, and they are always busy complaining that they never paid them their 7 months salary arrears. So I want Matt to tell me what's going on. So that's my question. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We're wrapping up in the next few minutes, and
Okay.
I really need, and I don't know if the mic of
Segalink.
the CGIS is on. Mr. Babalawa, you can go ahead with your question.
Okay. I'm certain she can hear me. Thank you very much, Segalink Abe Governor, and thank you, Madam, for being here. Just a quick one from my personal experience. I've been trying to do some my passport renewal. Then I made a couple of changes, which I did online. And as a matter of fact, I was asked to link my NIN to upload the information on my NIN to the new, passport information I wanted. So, and which was what I did, and did all the requirements, submitted everything, and it was accepted. And I was called up for capturing, which I went for, and everything went smoothly. There were times I didn't understand what next to do. I reached out to the customer care number. Their response was fantastic, and at the point when the delay came, I reached out to the customer care again, and they directed me to Savicom, and which I made a formal complaint. And at the Savicom, I was made to understand that still, when it comes to the issue of change of data, like maybe your date of birth or name or whatever, that you can do all those formalities online. Everything still has to go through the formal usual process. So, which I did, and they, tried a couple of things to help everything, get sorted out. There were still some difficulties. Then I was worried, like, this is not, what we're hearing and stuff like that. Then he made me understand that if I was doing a new passport, my passport could be out in 2 weeks, or I'm doing a regular renewal. I'm not changing any data, any information, that yes, the passport could be out in 2 weeks. But if you're changing informations, it could take longer. So I inquire from a couple of immigration officers at the passport office, specifically the headquarters here in Abuja, the office that's supposed to be the headquarters. And speaking, under confidentiality, they told me a couple of things. Yeah, I'm aware that Iris is the company that is in charge of our database as regards the Nigerian passport. But during the renewal, during my inquiry, I got to realize that the Savicom is the face of the immigration uh, uh, department, and it is the place we go to lodge our complaint. So basically, it is the face. And in the Savicom, particularly at the headquarters, the encrypted computer system that they were given has been bad for months. So currently, you go to Savicom, you lodge complaint, they are basically helpless. They just collect whatever complaint, they just put it down on paper, and still have to go to Glass House to submit your complaint and get a ticket in so that your complaint can be addressed. So a customer care department still has to go to the Glass House, you know to make changes or correction or help people with technical glitch or whatever like that. So basically, I'm passing this information, if madam can still hear. The encrypted computer system that Iris company provided for them has been bad for months. I went there to lodge complaints, and Savicom, they couldn't do anything. And a lot of people, not just only me, a lot of people are facing the same issue. Currently, my passport is saying status unknown, and this has been the case for months. So I just thought I should put this out there. Thank you very much.
Thank, thank you very much, Babalola. I'm trying to bring Madam CJ up. She's in the audience. Madam CJ, please kindly accept the request. Um, Sega, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, I can hear you. We're trying to bring you up, ma. I don't know if you can see the request. I'm supposed to have released you by now. And also, if you have any, like Mr. Babalola. Okay, I think I can.
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, ma.
Yes, ma.
Yes, ma.
Hear you, ma.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma. Yes, ma. Can hear
yes,
you.
ma.
We can hear you clearly. Please go ahead. I think she can hear you, the co-host, but we can all hear you, ma.
Okay. Okay, I think it's echoing. Okay. So I didn't quite hear everything he said, but from the little I got, it's delayed. Can you hear me? Yeah, delayed.
Yes, ma. We can hear you, ma.
Go ahead. Go ahead, ma.
Hello?
Go ahead,
we can hear
ma.
you, ma.
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. So he talked about Savicom. First of all, I don't know what problem. I didn't hear what he talked. What the problem? Hello?
Okay, I'm sending you another request as
Hello?
a co-host, so it will be different.
Oh.
Can you accept the co-host request? They're sending you a co-host request.
Sorry, Oga Sega, while they are at it, anybody can also raise their questions so that maybe you can just lump it together and give it to her.
Okay, yeah. While we are here, like I said, if you have like what Mr. Babalola shared is more or less like a petition on. Okay, yeah, she's back now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. So like I said, I didn't quite I didn't understand, I didn't get what what happened, what issue he had. But the little I heard, he talked about Servicom, the system not working. First of all, Servicom is not supposed to resolve your problem. You just lodge your complaints with them. We have the EPMS. That's a unit that does, that's the technical unit that resolves the problem issues we have with passport, and it's not the IRIS staff. Well, I mean, it's done in conjunction with the NIS staff. So whatever, I don't know what issue he said he had, because he said the passport says status unknown. So if probably he could tell me, because I think the line went off, so I couldn't really hear what he said. I only heard him talking about Servicom, the system not working. We've updated all our systems regarding, Servicom. So I don't think, maybe that was a while back. I don't know when he went and he said the system was not working. But like I said, Servicom is not supposed to resolve your problem. They just they note what the problem is and pass it on to the unit, the technical unit that would resolve whatever problem you have. But if you can actually reach out to us again, or reach out to, lodge whatever problem you have on the website, on the Twitter, it will be resolved. We'll look into it and see what the problem is. Right now, as we speak, if you can just give me, so that right now, as we're speaking, we can actually find out because I have a technical team with me here. They can check what the problem is with his passport.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to try and send you the ticket number that was sent to me by the immigration officer handling it at Servicom. So I just did that now to your inbox, and basically according to him, he said status unknown. So he said that's the status of my passport right now, And like I said earlier, while I started the whole process, it was online, and I did, quite a number of changes, and I was able to submit. I linked my NIN data with, the new passport I'm applying for, and it went through. But on getting to the passport office after my capturing, I was told no changes was effected. That was affected, and that is not just me. When it comes to change of data, that you can actually do it online, you still have to come in person, and which I started the whole process, with them at Servicom all over again, and this is where we are for months now. And as I speak to you, even before I came online to speak, I called again to some of these guys, not the one handling my passport, but some of the guys at Servicom, and they are saying the Iris encrypted computer system that they used to work with before is no longer working. They have complained and it's still not been replaced. It has not been replaced. Before I came on speaker section this night on this Twitter, they say it is not working. Here at the headquarters in Abuja.
Okay. The reason for status unknown could be, it could be various reasons. It could be that your NIN, the NIN we have, the NIN you've given us is not corresponding with what we have for you on the system. There are many, it could be inconsistency in some of in the data you've given, or that you haven't paid for change of data, because if you do it online, and first of all, doing it online is actually just for you to log what you want done. The administrative aspect of it will also be done in Abuja, will be done at the service headquarters. So, but the team, they're actually working on it now to find out what the problem is. If you can also send us your enrollment number, that would, yes, that would make it faster, yes. So it was a change of data you wanted done, right? A change of data.
Yes. And which, according to the man at the Servicom, he said, yeah, that has been done. And I will send you the details. He was just...
Okay. It's actually, I think, if it says status unknown, then it's just probably some inconsistency in the data you have submitted, and probably one of the breeder documents. But like I said, it's being checked right now, and we'll see what the issue was.
Thank you very much, Madam CG. So let's move on, because Madam CG only has like a few minutes left. She has to go. For Mr. Gabriel, you can send your request to Sega, and maybe Sega will forward you Madam CG's email for the website allegedly website verification breach. Madam Esther,
we're handling that already.
Madam Esther, Grandma, welcome, ma. You can unmute your mic. Grandma.
I've been here now, eh?
Grandpa to be waiting to happen.
Madam Esther, you are marginalizing me too. It's all good.
Good evening. I was here before every one of you. Don't worry. I was just giving my plants food. Thank you very much, ma'am, for coming. Madam. I actually, most of the questions that I wanted to ask is already been asked. So actually, and I think you have done justice to all the questions. But what I want to understand is this, ma. Can't there be a way where you said the three, apart from the NIS, there are two other agencies that goes on? It's like 4. They search you when you are going in. And why don't they create a database whereby once that passport is being scanned, there's no point 3 different people start scanning you when you're going out, when you're coming in. I think when you're coming in is the same, and when you're going out is the same. But the worst part of it is when you're going outside leaving Nigeria outside. That is where the annoyance is more. And I don't know how we can, Nigeria immigration can cope this thing and make it that when we go in, we go through one system, and everybody, all the agency, the immigration agency, apart from the NIS, can just come through just once. And if you are wanted by the DSS, you are wanted by the EFCC and the rest, you should just flag them. I think that will make it a bit easier than 3 different people looking at your passport.
Madam Esther, what's the question, Grandma?
That's the question.
Okay. Madam CJ, did you get a question, ma? So we can just quickly move on.
Yes, thank you. I understand what Madam Esther is trying to say, or what she's it still boils down to technology, and what we have deployed is the e-gate. The e-gate will be would solve these issues, because like I said, the e-gate is linked to the command and control, which is online 24/7. And we also have the unit called the Secondary Inspection Unit. The Secondary Inspection Unit is a unit that consists of all the other secondary agencies, like the Customs, the NDLEA, the FAN, the Port Health, and all the other agencies that are working at the airport that need some form of data or the other. Once the e-gate is up and running, NIS will be the lead agency, scan the passport. If there's any issue, it will come up at the secondary unit, which is where the data will be distributed. Any agency who needs to pull the data from that can do that, at ease. So that is what we're working towards. Gradually, we'll get to a stage where the secondary inspection unit will be operational. And the NSA is the coordinating agency of all agencies like ours, FAN, ABSEC, Customs. NSA is our coordinating body, and this is what we're working to. And they're also in accordance, or rather in agreement with us, that we need to start operating the SIU. That's the Secondary Inspection Unit. We're still in the process of generating our SOPs and to see who does what, because that's very crucial for it to succeed, for it to be a success. There has to be an operational SOP which is being worked upon, so that every agency will know. And from the command and control, of course, this information will be dissipated to all the necessary agencies. Not only will we dissipate to them, we will also pull from them, so that if DSS has anybody who they want, who they need to watch list, or they need anyone who is who they need to question, we'll pull those information from them. And once the person comes, that passport will be flagged, and it will give us, that will now make it a seamless workflow. The workflow will be a lot better, where passengers are not subjected to multiple passport checks. It's the e-gate will solve a lot of that problem. And like I said, it's going to be operational very soon. Everything's all the processes are being implemented. We're putting so many things in place to make sure that we deploy it as quickly as possible. And once that is done, it will solve this issue of multiple checks, hopefully. And like I said, the NSA is our coordinating body, and they are also, we work together. We've been having meetings and trainings, and with the body cam, with the body cam we'll be wearing, the command and control will have all this information, so that they don't have to be on ground. Any information they need will be sent to our own system. Whatever we need to will be sent. Whatever we need, or whatever we get, we'll send to them. So it's going to be like a feedback system. It's going to be a two-way flow. They get from us, we get from them. So it's work in progress, and we know what we need to do, and we'll get there. And it's just a question of time, really, because all the equipment are on ground, and we're working on all the necessary procedures, the SOPs, and the necessary different levels. And there'll be different levels of access, of course. So it's just going to be on a need-to-know basis. There are lots of security checks that will be put in place. We'll be drawing from different database, different criminal database, so that not national security is not compromised as well. So like I said, the e-gate will be the solution to all this, because it will make clearance not only seamless, but national security will be enhanced as well. That way, people of interest, or people who are not supposed to, will be apprehended, and they'll be dealt with. I don't know if I have answered your question.
You have, ma.
Yes, ma'am. Wait, Madam Esther, she has to go. So just sorry about that, Madam Esther. Honor, thank you very much, Madam CG, for coming. I just want to ask one professional question, and then my distinguished Oga Sega will give the votes of thanks. We know the NIS, the primary responsibility, under the Section 2 of the Immigration Act, amended 2015, is to control persons entering and leaving Nigeria, issuance of passport documents like travel document, passport to bona fide Nigerians within and outside the shores of Nigeria. Also, even the issuance of resident permits to foreigners coming into Nigeria. However, there's an issue of border patrol officers in Nigeria. And you spoke eloquently about the border patrol in the United States conference you went for, which I was aware of. But we know the border security challenges existing in Nigeria. It could be complex. It could be by maybe poverty, lack of good governance. Some people might say corruption, chronic armed conflict in our, borders, national borders, armed banditry, porous border security, and transnational crimes amongst West African Sahel countries surrounding us. Now, the question goes, what is the Nigerian Immigration Service doing? And you also spoke about the threat to national security, which is, far fetched. And under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's mandate, um, how is the NIS doing in regards to job creation for the Nigerian youth? Thank you, Ma. Over to you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Shegun. The president has actually given us an approval to increase our staff strength, the personnel strength of NIS. It was a gracious approval, and very soon, of course, we'll start our deployment. We'll start our employment procedures, and what this has done is improved the fact that the control of borders will be properly done, will be manned by well-trained officers, competent officers. Because once we increase the number of boots we have on ground, then we have better surveillance, better patrol, and better monitoring, not just at the borders, but also monitor before entry, after entry, and even before, at the point of entry as well. So we'll have 3 very, very strong levels of monitoring before, at the borders, and then after, entry. So with this new recruitment, we've been approved to recruit over close to 10,000 officers. So that is a game changer for us, because whether we like it or not, our borders are quite expansive, and we need more than enough hands. We need a lot of boots on ground for us to make sure that the job is properly done. And with the approval that the president has given us, it will go a long way to make sure that these borders are properly, secured. And during our trip to the US, we realized that despite, there is the use of technology, but human capacity is also inevitable. Human capacity is definitely one of the key issues in terms of border security, and that came to light during this trip we had. And we're in talks with them in terms of the training. We've made very good contacts, and I think in the coming week or 2, that would give way to a lot of things in terms of the training. We're working on an MOC with them, with the American, government, and we're also working with our other international partners like the UNODC, IOM, ICMPD. These are all our partners in training all our officers at the border. We also have not just the border drill, but the border patrol. These are different categories, different aspects of border management. They get different layers of the officers that are posted to the border. And the training we are going to do now, the Special Border Corps, is we have about 5,000 officers right now that we have collated. Their names are on ground. We're just waiting for the agreement to go. We have other agencies we're working with. It's going to be a joint training. We're going to co-opt other major stakeholders. So the training is going to be very, very robust, and it will give room for employment of of Nigerians as well. I know that a lot of Nigerians have been inquiring, asking questions about our recruitment. Very soon, we'll make it known when we're going to start the recruitment. And I think it will put us in a better stead in terms of managing our borders and ensuring that the security of Nigeria is guaranteed. And other agencies we have synergy with, we have the Interpol, the Europol, Frontex. These are all agencies where we do training in terms of intelligence gathering, risk analysis, and border management as well. So we are working very hard to make sure that our borders are safe, and with, like I said, with the approval of the president, is actually a game changer for us, because this year alone, we're going to be recruiting, and the recruitment we're going to do this year is going to be specialized recruitment, because we're opening up the directorates. We're going to need specialized people, and we're going to request for, it's not just going to be employment as usual. It has to be, specialty based. I think, yeah.
Thank you very much, Matt.
Yeah.
You're welcome. I'm going to hand over to my big brother, distinguished second links. Thank you for coming. May God be with you, and may you do more for Nigerians to secure our borders. My name is Abe Governor, and I yield the mic to distinguished Sega.
Thank you very much, Abe, for managing the mic. And I want to say that we are really blessed having the CGIS of Immigration coming. It is deeply appreciated that the Comptroller General of Immigration has taken the time to directly engage with Nigerian people by coming forward to address critical questions. The CGIS demonstrates a commendable commitment to transparency and ensuring clear public understanding of the operations and services provided by the Immigration Authority. Too often, government agencies and their leaders remain detached from the citizenry, thereby having a problem with proactively interfacing with Nigerians and opening a dialogue. But our CGIS today has broken that jinx. It has allowed for valuable insight into the experiences and the concerns of the populace, and this reciprocal flow of information is essential for an immigration system that properly serves the needs of the nation. The immigration process can be complex. There can be a lot of things, that needs explanations, that need to walk through, and for a lot of people. But having the opportunity to receive direct clarification on procedures, on requirements, and rationale from the highest level of leadership helps demystify the process. So when authorities take such efforts to explain the rudiments of their operations, it engenders greater trust and cooperation from the public. Even though we may not be able to take all the questions, we ensure that there will be a rapid fire of engagement or response to all the questions in the purple pill, in the comment section, and also through DMs that we receive from people going forward. And I believe that the strategic communication of the system will be beefed up also, such that if complaints comes in through any means, it will be swiftly done. So this is a laudable initiative that aligns with the principles of open governance and accountability that all public institutions should uphold. It sets a positive example for other agencies to follow, and in prioritizing public engagement as a core operating tenet, Nigerians can have greater confidence that the immigration system exists to facilitate their interest when its leadership displays this level of acceptability and responsiveness. Thank you very much, Ma, for coming. Thank you very much for making history. Thank you very much for chattering this glass ceiling. And at this point, we want to have your parting word for Nigerians. Thank you, Ma. Back to you, Ma.
Oh, thank you very much, Doctor. It's been an honor to be on this conversation, and I completely agree with you that this is something we should do more often, because if we don't talk to people, if we don't talk to each other, then we don't know what the problem is. We can't solve each other's problem. And the administration we have now is an administration that is very listens, and I want Nigerians to know that we're here to serve them. That's our purpose. That's what we aim to do. And we also want to appeal to them that, like I said, if you see something, please say it. If you see something that's not going right, or if you have had an experience that you want to complain about, please let us know. Because if you don't let us know, then we don't know how to fix it or what to do, how to change the narrative. And that is what we want. We want Nigerians to come into our offices and have a very warm and sweet experience. And the only way we can do that is if we continue, if the engagement is continuous, we talk to each other, We have different channels of conversing with us. We have our social media channels, please. And going forward, we'll also make sure that we'll have numbers. We'll display those numbers now, where you can send text messages to certain numbers, and I can assure you that you'll get responses as soon as possible. And we thank Nigerians for being who they are, and we pray that we'll continue to serve you. And that is, of course, that's why we're here. So thank you all for listening tonight.
Thank you very much, Madam CG. And the parting words, there's a famous quote by Kofi Annan, and the former United Nations Secretary General. It says, knowledge is power. Information is liberating. Education is the premise of progress in every society, in every family. And the word information liberating, it bridges the gap between we, the people, and you, the people serving us. So we would like to see more of this so we can liberate the Nigerians and the people that are serving the public and the civil servants. So the key word there is liberation. I hope we would have more of this. Thank you very much, Ma. Distinguished Seger, over to you. I'm done.
Thank you very much. Even though the CGIS may have to take a meeting now, the people on stage that want to ask questions can still go ahead, because our team are still on ground, and they will take those questions and they will respond to you immediately. Once you put it down, because they have your handle, they can easily send you a message or also answer your question if you have left it as a message with them. So we'll continue. And because we'll promise to end this session by 8 o'clock, and because of the technical issue we had, that's why we're pushing it to 8:31. But for the sake of those who are still on stage, let's just quickly take your bullet questions straightforward, and then we'll get a message from the handle that will answer your question. We don't want to keep the CG for too long, because she's still working as I'm speaking to you. She's still taking calls. She's still handling different things. Okay, thank you very much. So Abby, I don't know the format, but I know Yedika is here.
All right, so let's start with Onyedika then. If he has question, we'll start with Onyedika and Mr. Stride. Onyedika, Truth, Stride. So this is the queue. Onyedika 1, Truth 2, Stride 3, Yemi CY 4, Dijagaba 5, Kata 6. And that's it. 1 minute, just straight question. And then that's it. Onyedika 1, go ahead. Okay, I don't think Onyedika is.
I think Onyedika is on break.
Okay, number two, go ahead, sir.
Okay, good evening, everybody. I don't know if you can hear me right now.
We can hear you, sir.
Okay, mine is just, to let Madam CG notice what I observed while I was testing their system. Yeah, I applied for passport renewal in their Benin office, and the process went smoothly online. But up to the process of inviting me for capturing, that's where the problem starts. So I got the invitation and all that. So, but unfortunately, they said I cannot come the date that was specified for me to appear. That capturing process does not work. That online something that I should forget about it. So I keep calling before they called me to come for my capturing. That's the first thing I noticed, that in that place they are not following the date for invitation for your renewal. So I don't know whether it's a problem or it's a lapse on their offices. That's the first thing I noticed, which I think they can improve on. There should be something that triggered if somebody did not come for invitation given to him. That's number one. Number two is that when I got there after finishing my capturing, what I also noticed is that anyway, before finishing my capturing, they were telling me, "Oh, you can get your passport faster. You pay certain money, blah blah blah." I didn't listen to them because I'm not really bothered. I know what I was doing. So I finished my capturing and I now went back. So what I noticed after going back was that The thing was delayed for 1 month, 3 weeks, when it's supposed to be 2 weeks according to them. So they keep telling me that it can be faster. I say no, I won't go through that way. But where I think the challenges lied was where they say you can track, where they say you can track your passport process. That's where I think Nigerian immigration can improve on. Because if they improve on that area, if anybody tell you come and bring money, you don't need to bother yourself. And what was that? When you are tracking, when it gets to the place where you can come and collect your passport, no date is specified, no, nothing is tracking it that, okay, after you do your passport renewal capturing successfully, it is now 1 week, it is 2 weeks, it is 3 weeks, you have not gotten your passport. There's nothing that indicate that. The thing was just empty like that. So nobody knows, nobody will know when you finish capturing. You know, you are having 1 month, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So they can't track it. So if there's a way, I'm just trying to see how they can improve on their system, you know, because that one will take care of those who want to take advantage of you in the immigration office, that you should pay certain money. If there's a way they can improve on it, that after capturing, 2 weeks after capturing, it can trigger their senior management to ensure that, okay, what is the problem? Why is this person why have they not sent his passport to deliver to him? You understand? So I have to keep calling their office before I can get my passport after 1 month, 3 weeks. Exactly 1 month, 3 weeks. So that's just my contribution. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Number 2. Okay, that was number 2. Number 3.
Good evening. The professors and the emeritus and the doctors and the ballets. Good evening. Yeah, unfortunately, the guest has left. I just wanted to ask one question, which is on ease of doing business. What is the procedure now? Has it been improved upon? Because in the past we had to send an email to the CS office. One of the things we used to do was to send an email with the guest's passport, a copy of the intending visa applicant's passport page. So I just want to know whether it's still the same or they have improved upon on it. That's that. And the first speaker said something about how difficult it is to apply for your passport in London. I beg to differ on what he said. It has improved tremendously. And I as a person, I've been sort of encouraging Nigerians to avail themselves of the opportunity of going, to apply in London. And they've been doing it as they've been getting their passports easily. I know back in the days when we used to go to the passport office, you have to go with your mat just because you want to apply for a passport. It was that bad. So, but right now it's much more better. Yes, there's still room for improvement, but I would definitely commend this administration for this improvement. The Saudi office is rubbish. In Jeddah, I can say that. But for London, it is 100 times better. And in a submission, she mentioned one thing which I find a little bit worrisome when she said that the immigration control center or control room is centralized at Abuja, not at the airport. That all airports, say Murtala Mohammed, Kano, Abuja, and all that airports, they don't have a control center, immigration control room that it's based in Abuja. That sounds a bit off to me because all airports have an immigration control room. So anything pertaining to immigration within that airport is dealt with at the control room within that airport, not going to Abuja. So maybe they could look into that and at least for ease of business or doing things and efficiency. It should be decentralized, not centralized. And then she mentioned these administrative issues going down to Abuja. What are the zonal commands doing? There are 8 zonal commands. Can these things be dealt at the zonal commands instead of everything going to Abuja? Thank you. Oh, finally, sorry. He talked on he just brushed over Binance, and I would have loved her to talk more on that. Okay. I'll have loved her to talk more on that because that was a national embarrassment. 5 months after, if they're still investigating, what was the first action of the immigration? Were those people on duty that day were they suspended? Pending investigation. Thank you. I yield.
Thank you very much. Who's Mr. Carter?
I think it's Madam Yemi. Okay, is it Kata or Yemi? I think it's Y. Stride was 4. Stride was 3. Yemi was 4. Kata is 5. Yemi, see, go ahead. Then Kata.
Yeah, good afternoon. My question is about the passport processing for the New York office. I remember a couple of years ago, New York used to have their own passport processing area whereby you capture and you can get your passport same day. But the last time I went there, I was told that now they don't have that. Um, they don't have that anymore because it has been taken down to Washington D.C., which I think that I don't know why they did that. And I was told that they've tried to write to the immigration in Nigeria for them to provide one of those passport processor to New York office, but nothing has been done. If New York is one of those centers that caters for a whole lot of Nigerians, and I don't know what is the capacity of Washington D.C. that they have to take that to Washington D.C. Is there a way that the New York processing center can have their own processor whereby we don't have to wait for weeks for us to get our passport once we capture, that we will be able to get our passport same day or maybe 2 or 3 days? If that is possible, we will greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's more of a policy related matter, though there's a bit of operations within it. So I believe that between the Minister of Interior and the CG, they will look into that and they will respond. You just keep a tab. If you're not following the Nigerian Immigration Service handle, please, this is a good time to do so. And this is a good time to monitor all the updates in the following days, coming days. You're going to see a lot of answers to your questions, and they're going to also keep the conversation going. They will, over time, host their own spaces. We will support them while they are doing so, where they can give you the feedback on all the questions that you have asked on this space, so you can begin to hear and as we proceed. Then also, I think it's Mr. Carter.
Mr. Kata, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Abby. Good evening, Segalink. So my question is more like a query. I am trying to renew my passport. I've been on this for days. I think I started on Monday. Well, anytime I put in my NIN, like I can't get my NI to verify. I keep getting the error message, could not connect to the server of NIMC. I thought it was just me. Then I reach out to a lot of people and I see that there are a lot of people having the same issue. If you go to the comment section, there are a lot of people complaining about the same thing. And I did send a mail to the email I saw on the website. I was told I should keep trying. I've been trying this the 5th day. Nothing is happening. It keep telling me could not connect to the NIMC server. This issue have been notified to the NIMC. Try again later, and I keep getting the same error message, and nothing is happening. I want to plead if you can look at that from your end and try to resolve me, because trust me, there are a lot of people having this same issue. If you go to the comment section, there are a lot of people. Personally, I know close to 20 other people that are having that. We are all having the same issue. We cannot renew our passports.
Thank you very much. That issue, any issue you mentioned here will be handled immediately. So they are listening to that to you as we speak, and they are noting all this, and you will get a response from the handle before the day goes for within this weekend. They've noted most of these questions and I'm getting confirmation of that, Mr. Carter. The Jagaban.
Oh, Sega, thank you very much, Anabi. You have told me what to do from your DM. I've done it, so I don't really need to say anything anymore. I thank
No
the
problem.
I thank
Thank you very
the
much.
governor who came on and
The
what you guys are doing. It's beautiful. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate you, sir. So there are lots of questions in DM that were forwarded to the immigration handle, and I'm getting confirmation that they've heard, they've acknowledged most of these issues. And if you still have issues, you can always tag myself, Abe, Madam Kem, and also directly the immigration office for this. I don't know if we can take all the requests tonight, because for the sake of people who want to listen in and transcribe what has happened in the space, we don't want it to be too lengthy. If it is too long, it will be daunting for them to capture all the essence of the conversation and then put it into different formats for people to interact with. So I want to crave your indulgence that if there are questions, please send DMs or send message, put it in the comment section in the purple pill, and we will get back to you. I will ensure that every question on the messages on the replies to this is answered, and I will also confirm if your question has been answered from the authorities.
Sega, I think
So thank
Kem
you
wants to
very
say
much.
something. She just came up stage.
Yeah.
Good evening once again, and thank you very much for the opportunity. Fantastic job you both are doing, Abe Governor, and of course, distinguished Dr. Sega. I just wanted to quickly react to what Mr. Stride said with response to what the CG said. She did not say they do not have a control center in those places you mentioned and the zonal offices. She said the administrative center, meaning, to the best of my knowledge, what I understood was that there is a center in Abuja that addresses change of name. It does not mean that you cannot change it from wherever you are. It simply means that whatever you do wherever you are will be sent down to that administrative center to be sure that the person is not trying to escape, some criminal charges or one or two things, to be sure that, there's some transparency in the system. To the best of my knowledge and what I heard, she did not say that they don't have control centers in other parts. It's just that administrative center that changes or that is in charge of approving that change of name is there. But before now, you had to travel to Abuja, and you no longer have to do that traveling. I think that's what she meant. However, I feel that it will be unfair if I do not say my experience with the Nigerian Immigration Service. A lot of people give them knocks, a lot of people, tear them down. But I will say that I had an amazing experience with them, and this is not trying to flatter them in any way. I registered for my passport and my child's passport by myself in the comfort of my house. And then I was asked to pick a date. When I found out that the headquarters, was overbooked, I couldn't get an appointment at the headquarters for several months. So what I did instead was to find out another passport office, close to me. And I found out that Gwagwalada, you know, had a very close date within the month, that I was going to register. And so I picked Gwagwalada, I picked the date, and I picked the time of appointment. It turns out that when I got there a long time before my appointment. I went to get the forms and whatever they said I should printed, at one of the centers not too far, one of the business centers not too far. And I did everything, put everything together. And I went inside and I said, I registered online and I want to do a capture. And the person asked me,
What time is your appointment? And I said, oh, I think my appointment was for 2 or so. I can't remember now. And the person said, oh, fine, coming, and I was captured. There was a delay in getting the passport out, but it wasn't too long, okay? But what I mean is, I did not have to pay anybody. I did not have to do anything, irregular. So I just want to use this moment to commend the Nigerian Immigration Office in Gwagwalada, for their professionalism and for their ease in making my passport application, or for their help in making my passport application very easy. So what am I suggesting? If there are other passport offices that are close to where you reside and maybe the main ones are not forthcoming, I think you should try that. And that's also the beauty in what the Minister of Interior has done. I believe that since he came on board, he's been able to open up a few more passport offices so that you don't have to concentrate on a particular one. I was in a group of media professionals and they were complaining about, and then I said to them, well, today every Nigerian is a journalist, and that's why we have citizen journalism. You have your phone. You do not only have your phone, you also have, access to buying body cams or whatever, even all these spy pens. They're not as expensive as you think. If we're going to, like the CG had said, over and over again, if we're going to build a better Nigeria, we cannot afford to be quiet about the misdeeds of men in uniform. We cannot afford to be quiet. That is not to say you be attacking them and saying, "Oh, I'm going to show you who I am." No, 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 no. There's no need for that. Put on your voice note recorder, get them on record. In those days, to get a midget, you'd have to sweat. But now you have a midget on your hand every day. Put on your voice recorder, record them, hear what they have to say, put it, tag me or send to Distinguished Sega, we'll put it into a video for them, and we'll send it to the people that need to receive it. Or better still, tag them. Many of the people who have been able to report certain infractions is because they simply tagged them. And Nigerians will help you, make it viral. Before you know what is happening, we'll clean up the system. It's up to us to build a better nation, and may God make it easy for us. Once again, everybody on stage, Auntie Esther, I see you. Everybody on the space, thank you very much for participating. I know that, let me see, Chief Sunday Diary, is still here somewhere. I want to say thank you. Distinguished Sega, our doctor, professor in making, Abbey Governor, well done. And thank you to everyone who's on the speaker section and on the listener section. Thank you.
I really appreciate everyone for coming tonight. Thank you for spending the time. I think, Madam, why I want to say something.
Yeah, so yes, I do. Sorry. I ran into a problem, and it's regarding this NIN and verification of name. When my daughter was young, we applied for a passport for her, and she had 2 middle names, but we changed everything on her birth certificate to reflect only 1 middle name. So when I went to get her NIN for her, as part of the new requirement, I took all these proof with the birth certificate to the NIN center, and I got a number based on the new information that we have on hand. And when I went to the passport office in New York to get a new passport for her, they told me because the information they had for her had 2 middle name, they couldn't print a passport for her with just 1 middle name, and I have to go back to the NIN office and make sure they included the other middle name that was taken out. And their excuse was if they have to rectify, then they have to send all the information to Abuja, and it might take up to 2 years for them to fix that. So I don't know if this is still an occurring problem. And I had to go back to the NIN office in New York to fix and put back the name that was taken out. And after that, I went back to the office of to the New York consulate and got the new passport with the names that was original. I don't know, because it seems cumbersome, and they didn't really get back to me until after 6 months of waiting. I couldn't get a passport, and I couldn't call them because their customer line doesn't work, and they sent a letter to me and told me to come. I went, and that was how I got to know where the problem lies. So I hope this has been corrected, because I do not see any reason why I was made to go back and change things. And the information they were giving me is that you are giving us some information here, and it's not tallying with what is happening outside of Nigeria. So please kindly work on that. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much. Thank you very much. There is a lot going on when it comes to the sister agencies working in sync with what immigration has. And I can attest also, in corroboration of what you have said, to the issue of names being omitted, on NIMSI. And then when that happens, immigration will tell you there's something, the whole thing has to be in sync before you can do all that. But I think it was an exaggeration saying that it will take 2 years. If the component of change in the passport is more than a particular variable, you might have to go to headquarters, no doubt. But like I said, these kind of issues, when you send it directly to this system that they've upgraded now, they'll be able to treat this for you and ensure that it is without tears. So if there are any problem whatsoever, just follow the Nigerian immigration handle, send your message to them. They will treat it as SAP, and I will also monitor and follow up to ensure that this gets to source. So I really appreciate you for coming. For those who were not able to take, please leave a message, and I will follow up on every message and forward it to the authorities, and Abe will do the same. Thank you very much for your cooperation. Thank you very much for for being here. Thank you very much for sharing your energy. Thank you very much for trusting the platform, and thank you very much for being decorous, for being a wonderful host. You're all hosts, in this space. You own the place. It's your platform. For welcoming our CGIS, for coming here. This is the first time this is happening, and we pray that it will continue as we proceed. When we bring authorities closer to the people, you have a sense of belonging. There's no need to take to the street when you can talk to the people directly and get your problem solved. Thank you very much for coming. Abby, I want to appreciate you. Thank you, man. Thank you very much. And we end the space in 3, 2, 1, 0. Thank you for coming, and cheers. See you in the next space.